Yeah, 45 minutes.
Oh, there we go. So again, giving us two solution points. So with somebody sitting near you, what I want you to do is calculate your slope. Before you start on anything, double check that slope with somebody sitting near you. Okay? You don't want to start writing out the equation if you have the wrong slope. Once you have the slope, pick one of those point slope forms and put it in. And I want you to get to a y equals mx plus b type equation, what we call the slope-intercept equation. So use the 2 points to calculate your slope, double check with somebody before you move on, and then I'll pop the answer up there when you're done. Okay, right up here, you should have calculated your slope right there, and people are coming up with -3. Now, when you go to do point slope form, you only need one solution point. I just used that one at first. So I said y minus 5, x minus -2, put the -3 out front. And I did that work and I was coming up, what is that, -1 there. That's a 1. So -3x minus 1. Agree, disagree, have a question, want to see something, ask something? Must be good. You can notice we're crossing off number 4 there. Cars do not depreciate at a linear rate, so I'm not even talking about it. Right? You buy a $50,000 car and it depreciates 20%, so that that's 10 grand the first year. But a $50,000 car after 10 years is probably still worth 15, let's say 20,000. It doesn't it doesn't plummet to 0. You don't lose 15 grand every year. You have to you get it. It's not linear. So I crossed it off, which is nice because then it brings us to.
So we're gonna have questions answered?
No. So we've already been working with that one, which is called the slope-intercept form. So this might be a problem. This is what's called general form or standard form of a linear. Now some textbooks go as far to go 4x plus y minus 8. Like they'll set it equal to 0 like you would a quadratic. But I prefer the general form or standard form to be written x, y with a constant because it lends itself to the 0, 0 method very quickly. In other words, if I make an xy table and I let x be 0 and I let y be 0, what are we finding?
Finding the intercepts.
We're finding the intercepts, which at times can be very important, and that's what they're asking us to find anyway. So if x is 0,
The y is 8.
4 times 0 is 0, so y is 8. Is that the x or the y intercept?
X y. Oh no, it's it. X intercept. X intercept.
Because 0, 8, we have to go 2, 4. I have to adjust my scale. Because it will be off, so I'm just going to go by 2s. Because that dot hits the y-axis, that is actually your y-intercept. Correct? Okay. When y is 0, what do you get?
2.
So if y is 0, you have to divide by 4. And that is the x-intercept. So I'm just going to go the same scale, 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Katzma. Okay. So we kind of have a straight line right there. So did we find the slope yet? No, but I did find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. I did sketch it by hand. So what's my slope?
4 thing.
Well, I could take these 2 points. I could go 8 minus 0, 0 minus 2. I took the y minus the y, the x minus the x. You can find other points if you want. That's 8 over negative 2, which is negative 4. Some of you might have done this. You might have moved the 4x to the other side and it's negative. The number that sits in front of x is your slope. So lots of different ways to find slope, and I think that's over time where, you know, whatever teacher you have, or somebody explains it, you've heard it. Things are different in math all over the place. One of my biggest pet peeves, I know I've shared a lot with you over the day, but intercepts, those are points. So when I ask you, what's the y-intercept in this problem, what is it? What's the y-intercept?
0.
Y-intercept is 0, 8. It is not a single number, right? So on these exams, I'm telling you right now, throughout this course, it'll ask you, to find the x-intercept or the y-intercept, you better give me a point. You need to write that down somewhere to remember it, do so. Things to remember for the first test. Simplify radicals and intercepts are points. So many students get in the habit of saying the y-intercept is just y equals 3, right? Well, what is y equals 3? That's a horizontal line. So you know that's why you got to be careful. Points, line. You guys are awesome. All right. Do the same thing by yourself with somebody near you, whatever. Make an XY table. X is 0, Y is 0. Get your quick sketch. Find your slope. X and Y intercept. Okay? So, this general form, it is really nice when you work with it because when I say x is 0, 3 times 0 just wipes that variable out and there's a small equation to solve, you divide by 4. When y is 0, you also cover up the y because it wipes out that variable, and this 3x is 12, divide by 3. So you get these 2 dots really quick, you can put them on the graph, draw your straight line, because hopefully now you're recognizing this as linear. So the only thing would be to find slope. And there are different ways. You can actually do the 3 minus 0, 0 minus 4, negative 3 fourths. What I did here is I sent the 3x to the other side. That's why it appears as subtraction here. And then divided by 4. So the number in front of x is really negative 3 over 4. So there's your information that you're supposed to find in your graph. And that's why general form is used. It's pretty quick. Oh, here we go. Less is not always more. And what I'll tell you right now is that I'm always hesitant to give you guys full credit when all you do is write down a mental answer. Like you just look at a problem and just write just an answer down. Because what that in math, what it looks like is you look at the person near you and you just took their answer and you don't know what you're doing. So there should always be some supporting evidence on your paper. Typically in math, it's solving the equation. That's enough to tell me, yep, they're going through it, they understand it. So when you look at these 2 problems, we're supposed to find all that same information. Intercepts, slopes, and then sketch a picture. What is y equals 3? Okay, horizontal. So that means when I go up to a y value of 3, I put a dot there, I can put a dot there, I can put one there, I can put one there. But we have this horizontal line at 3, right? Once you've written down horizontal, now you can say something about the slope. And what do you know about slopes of horizontals? 0. And the last thing, what intercepts do I have in this picture?
Y.
Right here. What is it?
3. 0, 3.
0, 3. It's a point. So you label that one intercept. What do you know over here? Vertical. It's at 4, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be vertical right here. What's my slope?
Undefined.
You know? How straight up and down is straight up and down? Like, what's the largest number you can think of? It doesn't make sense. So then, what's your intercept?
0, 0.
All zero.
Sure about that, Bobby?
Nope.
4, 0. Perfect.